right, that was annoying. I have no idea what was going on there. It kept shutting down on my end and telling me there was no audio or visual. So, give you guys a minute to jump on here. Let me head out here. Let's see what's going on. Okay. All right. Oh, hi, Howie. How are you? Let's see. Yes, I am having trouble. Let's see. I am live, so go back to my channel. Bentley! Oh, hi, boy. Okay. Look at that beautiful sunshine. It is a gorgeous day. A little cool, but nonetheless, we are coming into fall. Slowing down on summer. Get this going here. Let's see where you guys are at. Okay. All right, let's see if that works for a minute. Okay. Okay, here we are. I think we're okay. So I missed you guys for a couple of weeks. No, Siri, I don't need you. Oh my God. It is literally like something took over my phone. Siri, okay. All right, here we are. Sunday Night Live. It is 6:15 on September 10th, and we are live. So I missed you guys for a couple of weeks. We had, let's see, last week was Labor Day, and there we are. There we are. Last week was Labor Day, which is the holiday here in the U.S. for anyone watching from around the globe. And so I was spending. Let me turn the volume down here. So I spent time with family on that day, big barbecue day, and it's somewhat I'm not going to say it's the end of summer, but it's the last holiday of summer. So. Yeah, so let's see. So a lot of people celebrate, so wasn't around for that one. And then the week before that, the Sunday before that, I was in Phoenix, Arizona. My daughter is going to college out there, and so I flew her out to Phoenix, and we had a wonderful adventure. We went to Sedona. You guys, all the traveling I have done, I've never been to Sedona, and Sedona was incredible. It was magical. I can't wait to go back. Like it was just crazy. I've been to Utah, I've been to Zion National Park and Bryce Canyon, and visited all of those places out west, and those are all beautiful as well. But there was something just truly spectacular about Sedona, and we also visited the Grand Canyon. So that was fun. I hadn't been to the Grand Canyon since I was 19, and what was interesting about that, I was like 18 or 19. I'm trying to think. And so, yeah, it was right around there. And so my daughter's going to be 19. So I got to take her, and she got to see the Grand Canyon for the first time. So my first time seeing the Grand Canyon, her first time seeing it. What a small world, right? Yeah, here, yeah. I know. I thought aliens got my phone too, you guys. It was like, it was crazy. It was, YouTube kept shutting down. Then my phone was shutting down. Then, so I created the live stream from the computer, and the computer, it appears, doesn't like for you to then go live on your phone. You should be able to just pick it up from your phone and go live, but it was giving me fits on that. So here we are. Thank you guys. Appreciate you being here. So let's see if I can get into the chat. Hit the thumbs up button for me. I appreciate y'all being here. And also, hey Bill, how are you? I know it was a bit crazy. So yeah, so make sure you hit the thumbs up button for me and tell YouTube you're here. And okay, let me see here. Yeah, got it. Yeah, it was so anyway, last couple weeks were a little bit of a whirlwind, and if you haven't been to Sedona in Arizona, it's a must. You must go. You must go. I cannot wait to go back. Bill, I know you said you'd been to Sedona. And wow, just what a magical place. So we got to do some hiking, we got to do some exploring. We were at a retreat, a mindset retreat. And today, what I want to talk to you guys about, what did you say, Kenny? Told you not to mention that because she probably doesn't know they beamed her up. Oh, this is alien Paula, right? Yeah. I'm gonna have the aliens make me 30 years younger. I think I'm gonna do that. That would be good. So listen, I was just in Sedona. I mean, isn't that where is an Area 51 out there somewhere? Or no, I think it's in Nevada. It's in Nevada. So yeah, it could be aliens in Sedona. You never know. So Bentley's barking to have the ball throw. I just took him swimming. Is it New Mexico or is it Nevada? Are you sure? Hold on, I gotta look that up now. Where is Area 51? I feel like I just looked it up and I thought they said Nevada, but I'm challenging you. Let's see. The U.S. Air Force military installation located at Groom Lake in southern Nevada, which means, though, that could actually be kind of on the border, right? So, so I'll give you that. Close enough, right? Definitely close. So today I wanted to talk about mindset because I had something really super interesting happen to me when I was in Sedona, and it was really a wake-up call in a sense. Not a wake-up call, but just something that made me just ask myself, what was I afraid of? Why? I don't want to win, but I think we just all want the right information. So you win next time, okay? You win next time. Let's see what can I'm trying to think what you can win on, Kenny. Fig Newtons, fresh Fig Newtons, I don't know. Whatever. So I wanted to talk to you about mindset. And when we think mindset, we think, positive thinking and, optimism and, just thinking happy thoughts, things like that. But mindset goes so much deeper than that. And it's a matter of, what are the things that hold us back? So that was the theme for me when I was in Sedona. So, what holds us back? What are the stories that we tell ourselves? So, mindset is a lot of thoughts that we put in our head based on past experiences that are, we hold on to these things, or thoughts that people have put, other people's beliefs and thoughts and the way they think, and they impose those on us and we adopt them as our own. And we have to really start to pay attention to the things that we think about, or the things that we own, and the things that hold us back, and what are the things that we hold on to that we shouldn't own those anymore. So smile and you will move forward, frown and you will slow down. Oh, I like that. That's good. So, so we went to, so in Sedona, there's all these areas that they're called vortexes. So there are these energetic, energy centers within Sedona. Let me get back over to the chat here. So there's these energy centers, and people will say that when you go there, you can feel the hair on your arms stand up or the hair on the back of your neck stand up. I didn't experience that. What I did feel was I just felt very, very like calm. I felt very centered. It was beautiful because every morning I could step out on the patio of my hotel, and they had paved the rooftop of the building below, and they set a patio up there. And so I went out every morning, I had coffee, and I looked out at the beautiful red rocks, and it was really, really incredible. Microwaves everywhere. Yeah, I think it's just, and I don't know, I have to look at why these energy vortexes are, why Sedona is such a hub for that. I didn't look that up, but so my daughter and I decided to go hike Cathedral Rock, which is, you come into Sedona and you see it in the distance, and it's just absolutely an incredible sight to see. So we decided, sorry, a lot of mosquitoes out early tonight. We decided to go climb Cathedral Rock. So we got up early. We got up about 5:30 and got there about 6 because we wanted to see the sunrise. The heat wasn't bad there at all. I mean, it was like 95 to 97, but it's a dry heat. And for real, it didn't feel horrible. But anyway, we wanted to get out there because we just wanted to see the sunrise. So we start hiking, and my daughter's looking at the map. We have no idea what we're getting into. And we just knew that Cathedral Rock is supposed to be the most energetic vortex of all the vortexes in Sedona. So she looks on the map, and it says, oh, it's only 0.3 of a mile to hike in. So we're like, okay. And so here we go, do. And luckily I had my hiking boots, and, because you could easily, if you're not really paying attention, you go, oh, I don't, don't bring, if it's only 0.3 of a mile, don't bring water, or maybe just put tennis shoes on, or something like that. But I put my hiking boots on, had my backpack full of water, and we started hiking. And we kept hiking, and we kept hiking, and it was definitely longer than 0.3 of a mile. But then eventually what you do is you start bouldering, and you're climbing, and you're climbing up on these rocks, and it's like, whoa. And you realize that you start to get, Cathedral Rock is huge, Kenny. I mean, it was amazing. And you realize that you are gaining some serious elevation very quickly because you're more climbing up these ledges than anything. It's not just a, easy little hike. So we got up to this one spot, and there was a ledge there, and then there was this big crack in the rock, and it went up. It was probably maybe 40 or 50 feet up, and it was kind of steep. And we looked at it, and somebody was there, and they're like, "Yeah, that's the trail." And we thought, "Oh my God, for real?" So we watched one guy go up it, and then my daughter said, "Well, I'm going to go up." And she went up ahead of me, and I start climbing up, and I looked back, and I got lots of video, Howard. I've got just sit and do some editing because I have so much video that I did, and I did little clips. There's a few shorts that I did from there as well. So she went up, I look back, and I'm like, I do a little bit of a freak out, and I'm thinking, I don't know how I'm gonna get down. And so at that point, I froze, and I shimmied my way back down, and I sat on the ledge, and I said, you go, I'll just wait here for you, not knowing what was on the other side. So I sat on this ledge, which was also spectacular. I mean, if that's as far as I had gotten, that would, that was no small feat. However, the getting back down. Okay, so then listen to this, Kenny. So it would freeze you, and it froze a lot of people. So I'm sitting on the ledge, and of course, Howard, I'm on the ledge, and I'm taking all this video, right? And I'm like posting things. And I was like, well, I'm gonna take advantage of being on this ledge, and I'm watching the sunrise, and it was absolutely beautiful the way the sun lit up the valley. So then people kept, coming up, and these couple of women were there, and they were like, that's the trail. And I said, yeah. And they were like, we're not going up that. And I go, well, that's why I'm sitting here. I said, I'm not, I couldn't figure out how to get down. We all were like, yeah, how are you going to get down? So then one of the women, she looks over the edge and she goes, oh, here comes an older guy. Let's see what he does. And here comes this gentleman, and he's probably 75, and he's just like, do, boom, 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 and bam, he's up on the ledge. And he was from Germany, and he says, his name's Warner. And he said, what are we all doing sitting here? And I said, well, I'm not going up. I go, I'm just hanging out because I'm not going up there. And I said, my daughter's up there. I'm just waiting for her. And then he said, why not? And one of the other ladies said, well, because we can't figure out how to get down. And he said, why don't you figure out how to get up first before you worry about getting down? And he goes, this shit, it's all in your head. It was like he was a sage that just appeared on this freaking ledge, okay? It was so crazy. So he's sitting there and he's giving us all this like very calm pep talk. And he says, oh yeah, I live right down there. And he says, I do this walk every morning. He climbs Cathedral Rock every morning. So he says, come on, let's get rid of the shit. Come on, let's go. And we were like, what? He's like, yeah, let's go. So later he told me, he said he picks people up off of that ledge and takes them up the rest of the way all the time. Yeah. So anyway, speak for yourself, old dude. Yeah, right. Exactly. So he says, and at one point I was sitting on the ledge and I said, I wish I had somebody to just lead me to, cause I've done a lot of rock climbing, and when you rock climb with somebody, they can be your eyes for you and say, oh, there's a ledge over to the right, or put your hand here, take your foot up to the left, or, something like that. So it's always good to have somebody who can guide you. So yeah, like I said, he just kind of appeared. And so he, picked us up and he starts climbing. He says, follow me. And so we did, and we followed him. So I get up, we go that 40 or 50 feet on that crack, and yeah, I know. Kind of reminded me of you too, Howard. Yep. So the story like mom and dad would tell you about hiking out west. Yeah, it was crazy. So I get up that little 40, we'll just call it a 40-foot climb, and I get to the top of that. And again, like every time you went up something, you realized like how much higher you got. And I stood up there and I looked around and I went, holy shit. That was... And it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. It was not nearly as scary. And he says, it's okay. Everyone has a red butt when they go down because it's all red rock. So everybody scoots down the mountains. So I stood up and I looked around and I was like, oh my God, I did it. And I said, I can't believe it. I go, this is amazing. Wow. And I looked and I couldn't believe the view that I had from there now. Because now I had gone from the ledge that I thought I had an amazing view on. Now I went further. I pushed past this fear. And he says, okay. He says, there's more. Let's go. And so the thumbnail of the video of the live that I couldn't get going, the woman behind me took a picture of him and I walking up. So if you go back and you see the thumbnail, which eventually I'll take down and put it onto this video. But anyway, so that was me and him walking. So we got up to that one point and then we started heading towards Cathedral Rock. I mean, it's all Cathedral Rock, but there's those big pillars that you see when you see Cathedral Rock. So we kept walking and we kept walking, and I finally caught up with my daughter, and I had texted her a picture. I said, there's this, it's supposed to be the most energetic point of Cathedral Rock. And she had gone and she found it. And she sent me a picture, and I was like, oh. And when she sent me that picture and I was sitting on that ledge and I started to feel this like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna, like, look how far I came. Like, why would I stop here? Like, this is before I got off the ledge, before Warner came up. And so I started feeling that angst of wanting to, but the fear was holding me back. And so I eventually, got to that point. So then, it's a climb just to where the thumbnail, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you look at the thumbnail, that was on the other side of the big crack. So we were probably at that point, the whole thing's about a 5,000 foot climb. So I'm going to guess, we were at maybe 40, probably maybe 4,500 feet at that point. So it was pretty steep up until that point. So we kept going, maybe 4,000, I don't know. And then we got up, and again, every time, and I kept having to stop, and he's like, it's so, and not to rest, but to stop and look, because the view was amazing. And that alone, getting to that point, to be able to look out and see what I almost missed, because I was allowing fear to hold me back. And then we got up, took more pictures, and then he says, okay, come on, you want to see the other vortex? I said, yeah. And no, Kenny, that was not ground level. That was not ground level at all. No, that was like way high. I have to like put all the videos together, and I couldn't really take video while I was walking because for obvious reasons, I didn't want to fall. So if you're here watching, hit that thumbs up button for me, please. So anyway, we kept walking. I got up to the very top. You guys, I got to the very freaking top after being afraid to leave that halfway mark. And I need a GoPro. You're absolutely right. I think that would be a great idea for the next time. I didn't put my Strava app on because I don't know why. I totally forgot, which would have told me the mileage and ultimately the elevation that we climbed. So I'm upset about that. But so we got up and we sat, and it was quiet, and you looked out, and this gigantic red pillar, and it was, we were almost not necessarily in a cave, but we were between two of the pillars, looking out at one of the pillars in the blue sky behind it. It was amazing. And then he said, yeah, you have to go, Kenny. He said, okay, are you ready for an adventure? And I'm like, other than that, wasn't that an adventure? And he said, we'll go down another way. And I said, okay. And he said, you can't go back the same way you came. You have to see something different. And best alien story I ever heard. I know, right? Yeah, maybe he was an alien. So then that lesson of like, take a different route. Don't go back the way you came. That's the safe way. You know what you're up against. Take the adventure and go on something new. So he took us, so we had climbed up and through, and then we came around and came down the front and back around the front. And it was steep. It was really steep. I have a picture. There's me and two other people literally like above me, and we're just scooching down on our butts. But we did it. We did the whole thing. These two other women that were afraid also. Actually, no, they didn't go up to the vortex part, but I went all the way to the top, and then Warner brought us back down. And coming back down the crack, and we were just scooting on our butts, and it felt like no big deal. And I let that segment stop me until he showed. If he hadn't shown up, I wouldn't have done it. So, I was looking at this whole lesson as just that. It was a lesson, is that I almost missed out on one of the most epic experiences. And again, if you only make it to that ledge, that's still pretty epic. You're not, no disrespect to anybody who only makes it to the ledge and doesn't go up. But what was on the other side was even more spectacular. And so that was the lesson was, hey, Lisa D, how are you? Talking about Sedona and mindset and not letting fear hold you back. Yeah, it was amazing. So, hey, Paula, how are you? Oh, nice to see you. Thanks for jumping in here. Have a fabulous week yourself. So this translates to so many things in life, is that what holds us back? Why do we hold ourselves back? And why are we listening to, and I have a great video of Warner talking about the shit in our head and how it keeps us back, and how, we just need to get past it, and how these are things that somebody put into our head that we can't do it. And when I was sitting on that ledge, I said, well, my 25-year-old self would have done it all day long. And hey, Brun Free, how are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for jumping on here all the way from down under. So yeah, Brun Free says, hello, lovely, happy people. Just a quick pop in. Always appreciate you jumping in here. Thank you. Yeah, we're talking about hiking in Sedona, which is a pretty epic area here in the States, if you've ever been. And then of course, so, you know, not allowing fear to keep you back. So Howard says, keep pain bodies keep you back. So get over it and move along. Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Push through it. A lot of it is in your head. And when you start to challenge yourself, I did a video a while back on moving your body and pushing your body and challenging, and that it, you know, I liken it to like a, you know, a sports car, a Ferrari. If somebody gave you a Ferrari, would you drive it at 20 miles an hour? Our bodies are, yeah, Brunfree says, my 25-year-old self is still doing things at 62. Good for you. Yes. Because when I was trying to talk myself out of it, I was really feeling regrets. I was feeling, you know, wow, if I leave here and I don't go, then, you know, all I would say is, well, when I was 25, I would have done it. Nope. Guess what? 56 and I did it, you know? So it was great. So, you know, this, when we're trying to accomplish things, when we're looking for, you know, better lives, and we're, you know, working with so many people on their health and wellness, and maybe they need to lose weight or you do some gut repair. And this is where the fear of the pain, of the emotional pain, not even the physical pain, but the emotional pain, because to move past and get to where we want to go, we have to move through some serious emotional pain and get out of our own way. Because the comfort of staying where you are is like, if that doesn't exceed the pain of being where you are, you'll never get to where you want to go. So, yeah, still a teenager, right? When Howard says, when you don't believe in the pain body, then you live free of burden. I might have to clarify that sentence for me, Howard. So, yeah. Yeah, old saying, get over yourself, right? Warner said something that jumped out at me. You can't come back down the same way you go up. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, experience a new path, find a new way, challenge yourself, and you won't go on life's journey. Right. And this is really what it is. It's a journey, isn't it, Kenny? And so ultimately, like I say, to get where you want to go, if you're not happy where you're at in life, if your relationships are struggling, if your health is struggling, if you don't feel good, if you if you're not thinking clearly, if you're just not functioning well on a daily basis, if you're not strong, if you're you've got to really take that microscope to yourself and look at yourself in such a way that says, okay, I have to go through this pain. You have to go through the pain to get to the other side, whether it's emotional pain, physical pain, to get to the other side, to get what you want, to ultimately level up. I went to the top of this most incredible climb, and I had to push through fear to get there. And once I did, and there was only that one spot of fear. And yes, while I was feeling slightly, I don't know if I was fearful the whole way, but it was a big deal. Like you're like, you got to be careful. And it's like, it's a little bit, does kind of take you back a little bit. But once I got through that first one, it was so much easier to get through every other little bit of fear if it entered me. Should I go around that corner, or how can I go up these rocks? And Warner was great because he was like, put your hand here, put your foot here. There's a ledge there. So it was amazing to have a guide. And then what he did in his ability to guide me was it allowed me to tap into my inner guide, right? My inner compass that was like, oh, okay, you got this. Because I think we also have a tendency to shut that off. We have a tendency to not listen to our own inner compass, the authentic one that takes us to a life that is, incredible and beautiful and allows us to see and do things that we could never do. And then from a let me see what your comments are here. You come down a different person every time. Yeah. Brunfree says, I do most things alone at the moment. Most of my friends don't want to do things. They retired and sit around. Yeah, they can't. You got to keep moving. And Howard says, if you don't believe it, then the thought of unhappiness can't hurt you. Yeah, yeah. You can't buy into it. Oh, Brunfree, I got to go watch some fishing videos, apparently. Kenny says, it takes a lot to push yourself to keep climbing the way you did. If I stopped and looked back, it would scare the shit out of me. Well, one of the things was, and because that's what I thought too, was I know I was on the mountain. Yes. Yeah. Look up Cathedral Rock and look up the highest energy vortex at Cathedral Rock, and you'll see exactly where I was at. Crazy. And I think, like I said, I looked it up, it's like 5,000 feet. Brunfree says, wow, Dr. P, well done too. First is tough. I felt fear when I had to cross a river once. My inner guy said, do it. And now I can cross it anytime. It's not deep, but my fear was deep. Yeah, that's such a great lesson, Brun. Thank you for that. Kenny says, you're right. We do shut down. And it goes back to something we talked about before too often. We don't want to let go of a thing because we're afraid of losing it. But maybe we need to lose it. You know, those things, we get comfortable with those things. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're good for us. It just means we're comfortable with them. And so sometimes we have to just say goodbye to those things. Howard says, lots of negative ions on that mountain you climbed, Doc, and you have amazing energy. Yeah, and that was the thing. I felt calm once I got through that first layer of fear. But the other thing, so the emotional and physical experience of that, and this is why I love doing this. I love doing what I do and being able to impact people's lives, because one of the videos that I did sitting on the ledge, just the ledge, again, just the lesson I got to the ledge, was that the reason you need to stay mobile and fit to, to Brun's point and Howie's all over the place is that to be able to do stuff like that, like, Brun's friends are all retired and hanging out and not doing anything. And guess what? They won't be able to do epic things like that. And you should be able to do epic things like that, because so many people, I know people who are like, oh, I used to do those things when I was 25, if we go back to that. And then they've allowed themselves to get out of shape, and they haven't stayed mobile, and they don't have the flexibility. And you guys, do you remember that I had a major fall? And I did a video on that. I had a major fall a week before I went out. That fall that I took would have, anybody else would have been in surgery for their knee. I fell on my knee, on a bent knee, and slammed my knee down. And I didn't feel, other than when we came down, both of my knees felt a little tight, but it was a 5,000 foot descent. So it was, but I didn't feel it at all. But that's the thing. If you're not strong and flexible and taking care of your body, think of the epic things you can do. So we have to get you there. If you're not there, we have to get you there. If you're already there, bravo on you for taking care of your health so that you can do those things. And I think sometimes that just feels so out of reach for people. But, it's like the Christmas show. You just have to put one foot in front of the other, right? Let me read some comments here. So, where are we? Kenny says, oh, you're right. We probably do need to lose it, but that's the fear that we need to learn how to get past it. Yeah. We hang on to so much shit. And that was a big thing too, that Warner was talking about. And he's like, what does these things that you're holding on to, other people put these things in your head, and we buy into them, we buy into them, we keep them, they keep us comfortable, it's our comfort food. And we have to get away from that to get something better for ourselves. So Kenny says, yeah. And Howard, you remember my fall, right? I know. Again, it was a bad fall, you guys. It wasn't, like, it was bad. And I'm pretty proud of myself to be able to have healed the way I did and to be able then to have done that kind of a climb. So I never thought about my knee once, which was amazing. Kenny says, I remember I didn't think you'd be able to go hiking the way you did. I know. Isn't that amazing? Howard says, glad you're back, Doc, and the aliens did not keep you. I know. They brought me back a new person. Kenny says, great, now I'm going to be singing that song all night long. You put one foot in front of the other. Brun says, I go hiking, fishing, metal detecting, which is lots of walking and bending, digging, etc., carrying equipment, planning, thinking, decision making. It's wonderful. I can't sit and wait to die. And it's so unfortunate. So many people, they do, right? And that movement and doing what you're doing, the bending, the flexibility, the keeping your mind sharp, thinking like you're doing. So that's really, really awesome. I love it. It's got to be super interesting, right? Oh, these mosquitoes. So yeah, Kenny says, I'm so glad you're able to heal enough to go and do it all. Yeah, it was amazing. And soon you'll be walking across the floor. Nice. Good job, Kenny. That's great. So, I bring this up because I thought it was just a great lesson in life. And again, these patients that I work with, oftentimes there's so much emotional shit that they won't let go of that is preventing them from getting to their physical, allowing them to, they want to eat donuts every day. It's just, as an example, right? Or, they just won't do the work. They don't want to let go. They're more comfortable being comfortable, and it's more fearful to leave the comfort of feeling like shit than it is to step into a world of being and feeling incredibly amazing and being able to move. And so, this is where I try to use these stories that I had somebody ask me today. She was like, what do you normally talk about? And I said, well, anything health and wellness. And I said, it usually comes out of a story, an experience that I've had, or an experience I've had with a patient. And I'm working with a few patients now on detoxes and, I always recommend a twice yearly detox and, making sure you're getting your, eating clean again and getting rid of the inflammation. And the problem is, when your body isn't functioning properly and your gut's not working properly, it affects your brain and your ability to think clearly and your ability to connect with people and have great relationships. And we end up with brain fog and we're not sleeping great. So it's just so important to take that first step. You want to eat donuts or donuts? There's Homer Simpson for you. Brunfree says, I'm learning to use equipment and using compasses and all my body senses. I love that. When I get stiff or sore, I rub it, spit on it. Sometimes I go to Bowen therapy. Yeah, Bowen therapy for vagus nerve readjustment, and I'm good. Yep. Kenny says, before I get yelled at, I don't. Oh, I can't read it. I've got a thing in the way. Okay, I'll read your full. Yeah. When you're doing, oh, Kenny says, okay, before I get yelled at, I don't, but I still want to. Yeah, there you go, right. Hey, Greg, welcome. How are you? Nice of you to be here. So, but that's great, Brun. I might need a little help on that last comment there, Howard. Would you mind, Howard or Kenny, just monitor that one for me, please? Yes, good mindset comes from a healthy body and healthy mind and locally grown food and grow your own food. Yeah, and that's, growing my own food. A lot of you here grow your own food. Even just going to the local farmers market is important. Supporting our local farmers, eating as local as we possibly can. But it's about, I had a conversation with someone on Thursday. I'm putting together an online course, and it's going to be targeted towards busy working moms who have young kids who are trying to feed their families healthy. And so it's just going to be like a short, I don't know, it might be a 3-week or 6-week webinar. I'm not sure. I haven't picked the, I have the content. I just have to figure out how I'm going to structure the content. But thank you. Appreciate that, Howard. And Brunfree says, Kenny, I had a donut on my birthday. It was nice, but then it didn't sit well. I know. So here in Michigan, Kenny can appreciate this, is cider mill season. So it's apple season, and we have, the cider mills have the best donuts. They're like cinnamon dipped apple donut, they're so good. And I usually have 1 or 2 a year with a cup of apple cider, cold apple cider. I dip them in the apple cider. They're so good. But it's the same thing. I do like one a year, and I know like I take digestive enzyme because it's like a guilty pleasure for a once a year. So Kenny says, Howie, you must have nailed it pretty fast because I didn't even see the entire comment. Yeah, I wasn't sure, but I could sense what was coming on the comment. So yeah, that was haven't seen anything else from there. So thank you, Howard. Appreciate it. Brunfree says, oh yes, I'm picking lettuce today for salads, hoping to catch fish to go with it. I save lots of money growing food. Yeah, I've been getting so much from my garden. I picked a half a bushel of tomatoes the other day, literally in 5 minutes. And, it's work. It is work. And when I had this conversation with this young mom the other day, because she's my avatar for writing this program, and she's actually super grateful that I'm writing this program. Specifically, I had her in mind. And she said, I wouldn't even know where to start with a garden. And I was talking about things that are just so second nature to me. And she said, there you go, Howard. So she said, thank you, dear. So she said, she wouldn't even know where to start. And to some of us who grow food, it's second nature. But that's the thing. It's drilling down and helping people who want to do better things, who want to, they just don't know. And so it's really important to take things down to the smallest common denominator to help people take that first step to get their lives and their families' lives in order. So watch for that. I'm putting out that I'm on a 90-day sprint to get that program out and working on that a little bit every day. Yeah, cider and donuts, Kenny. I know. I'm like, and I usually wait till the end of the season, so I only go once. That's it. Brunfree says, and I preserve food in jars, pickles, and relishes. Isn't it great? And so, so September and October, it's preserving season, I've got to get in and process. I've got my squash. I got to blanch it, and I'm going to freeze it, use it for soups, and I've got so many tomatoes that I have to can my own tomatoes. I've never gotten so many tomatoes that I was able to can my own tomatoes because I had just enough to eat fresh. So I did pickles in apple cider, raw carrots, tomatoes. That sounds really good. I'm going to get a bunch of apples, and I'm going to make apple cider vinegar. But the other thing that I want to do is I want to make cider, like booze cider, like drinking, like hard cider. That's it, right? So I want to make hard cider. So I want to learn how to make hard cider. So watch for that, because I love a good cider, but the problem is everything on the market is filled with sugar. And so I want to make a nice, dry, crisp, refreshing hard cider. So watch for that. Kenny said, I used to live within walking distance of Parmenter's cider mill in Northville. Yeah, they've got a great cider mill there. Yeah, and then so when you pickled your you did pickles. Okay, so you pickled just cucumbers, or did you pickle other things, Howie? Oh, the carrots and tomatoes. Yeah, yeah. There's one year I had a whole bunch of green cherry tomatoes, and somebody told me to pickle those, and I never did, but I think those would be good because I love a good green tomato. Howard says, I've been harvesting giant marrow squash, so many this year to harden off for storage for the year. That's great. Kenny says, oh man, my dad used to use cider vinegar on sardines and make a sardine sandwich with Ritz crackers. Wow. Okay, that's cider vinegar on sardines. I've never even heard of that. So yeah. Brunfree says, I dry loads of sliced apples from my trees and dehydrator use it. Yeah. Oh my God. Dehydrated apples are the absolute best. So yeah, I've got a friend of mine I'm going to go out to his farm. Actually, Bill, are you still here? So I'm going to go out to Bill. So Bill has he's got a tree farmer, nursery, and he's got all kinds of stuff. So he brought me some pawpaw. You guys familiar with pawpaws? Howard, you might be familiar with pawpaws. So he brought me some pawpaw puree, frozen, and then I'm gonna get some chestnuts from him. So Bill, you make a hard cider? Oh my gosh, can we make hard cider together? Will you show me how to make hard cider? Yes. All right. I didn't know you were one step ahead of me on that. Let's do it. Okay, good. And you know the blend? You have all the secret blend sauce that we need to use. So Kenny says, yeah, he'd mash up hard sardines in a bowl, add a little vinegar. I loved them when I was a kid, but the smell bowls me over now. That's so funny. Apple cider takes away the fish taste, as some don't like it. I had no idea. Brunfree says, no way Kenny ate sardines with a drizzle of apple cider vinegar. Often love it in a sandwich. That's great. Oh, you're growing pawpaws. Okay, so we have so Bill is actually, Bill, I got to give you a wrench. Bill is actually, add as a moderator. So, there you go, Bill. I gave you a wrench. You get a blue wrench now. It means you're special. That means when people like that creeper jump in here, you can hide them and take them off for me. You can monitor the chat. So here, we'll give Brun a wrench too. I thought I already had you. There we go. So Bill runs we have a pawpaw co-op, I guess. Like we're trying to get, I'm saying we, but it's part of one of the groups that I'm in. So, but trying to get pawpaws to be more of a marketable, fruit, because they have to ripen on the tree, so they don't have much of a shelf life. And so we have this down at it's called Rogers Reserve, down at Michigan State University. And I think, didn't we get a grant from, didn't Dennis Fulbright end up getting a grant to get that equipment to do the pawpaw puree? So then it can actually be, shipped. So anyway, I'm going to get chestnuts also, and chestnut flour from Bill, because there's also a chestnut co-op here in Michigan, big industry for chestnuts. So just trying to grow that industry, and they're better than any Italian chestnuts that get imported. So what's Haven, Bill? Is that an apple? Kenny, you would take sardines in your lunchbox. Did you want to get your ass kicked? Is that, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Oh my God. Did you have friends? Did you not want friends? Like, oh my God, that's so funny. Let's see, lemon squeezed on any canned fish with a dab of dill. That actually does sound pretty good. Never had hard cider, not a drinker, but maybe I'd try it. It's really good. When it's crisp and clean and not sweet. Yeah, pawpaws are only good for just a few days. Pumpkin flour. Oh, I've never heard of that. That's interesting. Okay. That's one good thing to do with your, boy, I could, so I would make, I wonder, Brun, if you're still on here, I would make pumpkin leather in the dehydrator, and I would puree my my pumpkin or my hard squash, basically, and add some cinnamon, a little hot pepper, and little maple syrup, and then I dehydrate it, and it was amazing. Yeah, I wonder how could you would you have to freeze dry it to get it? How do you get it into a flour? Because yeah, that would be really good. Trust me, they all knew whose lunchbox it was. So Bill says a third sweet, third neutral, and a third bitter apple blend. That sounds really good. And then it makes a dry cider, Bill. Yeah, super high fiber. So I got to show you because this was my wild squash. Oh shoot. Hold on, I gotta take that out of there. Hold on, sorry guys. Okay. So this guy just, disintegrated and then grew and just went crazy. So I don't know the name of this one, but it is the best hard squash, and I've got a bunch coming coming in. So yeah. So anybody know what that is? Let me know. Yeah, the squash in the garden is just about done. What else? Tomatoes are still going gangbusters. I'm gonna put this down here. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, super high fiber. Dry away you can, and grinding stone. So you would just take the pumpkin, put it in your dehydrator, because every time I've done it in the dehydrator, it makes more of like a fruit leather. So Kenny says, good Lord, every week I hear about some food I didn't even know existed before. Never heard of pumpkin flour. I haven't either. So see, learn something new every day on this channel. Yeah, or every week, however that is. Kenny, you've learned so much about food. Isn't it? Don't you feel like we've just opened up your world to food? I think it's great. Well, so pumpkin leather, yeah, I think I was using like acorn squash or butternut squash or something like that. And listen, I would, when I first got my dehydrators, I would tell people, I'm like, if you come by my house and my house is this big, I've dehydrated the house. I dehydrated everything. And it's such a great way to preserve food. It tastes amazing. I do the golden beets. I dehydrate the golden beets, and they're like candy. They're so good. And so I was like, well, let me see what happens when I dehydrate the squash. And so yeah, so I dehydrated it, and it was like a fruit leather. It was so good. And I put in like pumpkin pie spice, and in it. It was really amazing. Cut up and lay the squash on the counter and put a fan on. It takes a couple of days. Because I also have a Vitamix that will grind all kinds of stuff into flour. Kenny says, yeah, it opened me up a lot of things. I told you about the blueberries, but I've since learned that blackberries are the shit. Yes. Honey, I Shrunk the House. Right, Brun? I know. And, it's like preserving becomes such a fun event, So I'm always curious at how other people preserve food, or like I said, that the pumpkin flour, I'd never heard of that. So if you dry it like that, it won't mold, or would you put it in your dehydrator, Howard? Yeah, interesting. So yeah, because I'm going to have all these hard squashes, and I'll harden those off, and I'll save one for next year for seeds, because it did so amazing. Everything, I'm going to save seeds from all these plants, because they were just, they were really amazing. This garden was incredible. I'm getting a ton. I planted 2 chamomile plants, and I have 2 full pint jars of chamomile for tea, and I have probably another pint jar to harvest over there. So I'm going to plant a lot more chamomile next year. Let's see. So need to dry it first. Squash is your survival staple stored food. Okay. So don't cook it. So raw. So just dry it raw. So Bill says, according to Google, pumpkin flour is a type of baking flour made from pumpkin seed. Ooh, that sounds good too. So when I make my squash soups, or if I do a pumpkin pie, and I'm saying pumpkin, I don't use pumpkin for my pies. I personally don't like this squash over here. This will make a amazing pumpkin pie. It'll make an incredible soup because it's really rich in flavor. And so I'll use that. But if I ever use, whether it's a butternut or an acorn, anything, it goes into my Vitamix, and I blend the seeds and everything with it. So you're getting all the fiber from the seeds, you're getting the omegas from the seeds. So I love blending the seeds. And then sometimes I'll scoop the seeds out and throw them into a pot, pulp and all, like make sure you get a lot of pulp in there, and throw some coconut oil in there, and just fry it. And it makes like this beautiful, pumpkin or squash seed chip pancake. It's so good, but you put a lot of the pulp in there with it. So let's see, pumpkin seed flour is nice. Kenny says it would take a lot of pumpkin seeds to make flour. Yeah, it sure would, depending on what you wanted to make. Brunfree says, my spouse retires soon. It'll be great because it'll be the two of us planting, more preserving, more easy for the two of us. Really exciting times ahead. I think that's great, right? You have a spouse that does that for you or with you, doing that together. Kenny says, phew, thought maybe that was an ignorant question. No. Kenny, there are no dumb questions. Brunfree says, I'll be planting butternut pumpkins, the front yard space amongst the native shrubs. Nice. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? I mean, so, Bill has a family farm. Bill, what are you, third generation or fourth? I forget. And they're growing all kinds of cool stuff over there too. So I'll go out there and get some, but I'm also going to go out and help him graft some pawpaws, right? Was it pawpaws I was going to help you graft, or persimmon? I can't remember, because I want to learn more about grafting. My one apple tree, Bill was able to see the one apple tree that he helped me graft. And fifth generation. So Bill is fifth generation farmer. So yeah, and yeah, family farm. What year was your family farm established, Bill? Bill's a wealth of knowledge, so stay connected to him. Let's see. Howard says, the thinner you make anything, it will dry faster on a rack. So what do you maybe take it like on a mandolin, or just slice it super thin? Both and many other things, Bill. Yeah, 1860. Oh my gosh. All right, so Bill's farm was established in 1860. Isn't that incredible? And he's still going, and his son is now working with him. So yeah, really, really cool. Really cool. So we talked about doing some field trips over here for everybody who's local on this channel, but maybe we need to come out to your farm, Bill, do a little farm tour and a lunch or something like that. That would be super fun. I think you'd be into that too, right? That'd be great. I'm getting I feel like something, is it flour? It's like something fragrant, like somebody's got, it's dryer sheets. It's toxic dryer sheets is what I'm smelling. Not from my house. Isn't that amazing how far that travels? I'm like, yeah, it's toxic dryer sheets traveling from somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, it's all that toxic stuff. Kenny says, can you trace your history back further than that, Bill? Just guessing you might be able to, since you're aware of how far back the farm goes. Bill says, yep, sure. Howie's signing off. See ya again, Doc, fellow Earthlings. Thanks for being here as always, Howard. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. I'm glad to be back as well. I know I was trying to go live when I was in Phoenix, and I just was not able to get that done. So I was driving down from the mountain. Actually, no, that was Sunday. What did we do Sunday? We did some other hike on Sunday. So anyway, but yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Brunfree says, we had 5-acre farm and grew loads, but now downsized to 1 acre, still growing loads. It's physically and great bending, digging, carrying, shoveling, pushing, pulling. Field trip to Australia, Brun's house. Yes. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Okay, open invitation, right? That would be super amazing. Well, and that's the thing, like, you're able to grow a lot of food on 1 acre. I'm on a 1/2 acre, but I only grow a little bit of, a small area, in the grand scheme of things. I mean, can you imagine if I filled up my backyard, which would be probably a little more than 1/4 of an acre. I mean, you could fill your whole backyard with food and feed yourself for years, right? Yeah, let's go to Bruns. Bill says he would welcome everyone for a field trip. Yes, let's do it. That would be amazing. That would be awesome. Where are we? Oh, we're on 59 minutes. This is awesome. Great. Well, great conversation as always, you guys. Brun, keep it up down there. I love it. You know, there are some days, you know, I love going and doing yoga. I love going to the gym. But when I know I've got to really get out and be in the yard and do some hard work, I'm like, that's the workout, isn't it? You know, that keeps you healthy. It keeps you mobile. It keeps you flexible. And boy, isn't it great to get your hands in the dirt? Just feels pretty incredible. So, and I don't know about you, but when I pull things out of my garden, unless they're like caked in mud, I don't wash a thing, because everything in my garden is organic. Nothing's been sprayed on it. And I want all those good microbes. So yeah. And my tomatoes are insane this year. Like, you cannot buy a tomato like this. You can taste the minerals in my tomatoes. They're absolutely incredible. So yeah, grow some tomatoes. All right, you guys, so that's it. It is 7:13. I'm going to sign off and get myself ready for my week. As always, I appreciate you all being here. You know, it just brings me so much joy to come and connect with you and have this conversation. And I love, you know, just the chat and how you guys engage and interact. So thank you so much for being here. And yeah, let's see if we can do maybe we can do a live from Bill's farm. That would be pretty fun too, and just walk around and do a live farm tour. So, all right, you guys, thanks so much. Have an incredible week, and it's great seeing you. I missed you all. So please share my channel and let everybody else know where they can connect here. And I'm going to figure out how this whole live thing, so I don't get it doesn't shut down on me again. So Brun says, I have to go now too. I got chores, then fishing at the beach. I live at a beach called Nermanville, South Australia. Google it and have a look. It's beautiful. I definitely will, Brun. Thanks so much. I'm going to tune in. I want to see some of your fishing videos. So thanks for sharing, and I appreciate you being here from all around the world. This is amazing to have an international channel. So missed you too, Kenny. Missed all you guys. All right. Have an amazing week. Chat soon. Love you. Bye.